Okay, we're gonna go ahead and try this with the light off. The pink light gets to you. I was just showing you my fire stick, and I gotta lick this thing up and make sure it's getting enough light. I'm not too sure. But what I'm gonna do is just show you a basic overview of what's happening here. And of course, this plant is doing magnificent, but I can't say the same for some reason for what is going on here with my aloe vera. Frick is doing pretty well. I think Freck. I don't think he made it. And the sago palm, I'm not so sure it's getting enough light, but it looks to me as if there are prongs coming up from the bottom. They just grow so very, very slowly. And the habanero, this is my purple habanero. He's been doing rather well, actually. And he recovered from being moved. And you can't see it quite so well without that light on. I may be able to do something about that with my video editor. But I am developing little bits of fruit. So we'll look at it a little more closely because I have cleanup to do, obviously, before I really show you everything. But the main thing here, you know, the canna hasn't really done a whole lot, is that I left this on. I left this on because when I lowered the plant, I lowered the light, but not far enough. And I think I threw my plant into what it thought was fall. And everything decided to ripen. And what we're going to do is I'm also going to take this ripened fruit off. You can see where I have burnt my plant in different places. I left the mylar on because I was worried about the lighting. And I was trying to give it as much as I possibly could. I did go ahead and put some baking soda into the soil to help sweeten, because I do have other fruits. And to my wonderful, wonderful surprise, I'm developing new blooms as well. That's what I was hoping for. That's what I thought was going to stop, but it just seems to be taking off and doing rather well. So I have to clean this up and remove that mylar. And I also have to remind you that if you want sweet tomatoes, you have to grow a sweet variety. So keep that in mind. I did. But some of these that matured, I mean, this is a pretty small little tomato. And they're all ready to go. And we are going to cut them open and do, these two I might leave on. They're still hard. We're going to do a little taste test, and the other ones weren't very sweet. Part of me says leave them on. The other part of me says cut off what's dead weight. So we'll just have to see what I end up doing. Now let me take you over to the other side. Of course, my Christmas cactus is doing very good. He seems to be very happy there. He doesn't require a whole lot of light. Again, taking advantage of the lights not being on. But he is getting new growth, as you can see. And then we have the jungle vine. And look. They're getting little tentacles. They're trying to find the top of the canopy of the jungle, because that's where they flower. And they're never going to find it. But the flowering takes place only once a year, and it's for like 45 minutes. If I catch it, which I might put a camera on it if it starts to form a flower, I'll film it. Now let's go look at the rest. Ah, the pink lights I love so much. Don't worry, I didn't fall. Well, my impatiens seem to be doing well. And I don't know what color this is going to end up being. Hopefully orange. I had put an orange and white in there. But knowing my luck, it's the red one that took. I don't know. And I decided to go ahead with the green onions. And I moved this little fellow over here, but I just don't think he's going to make it. He needs more of a sandy soil. And he was a cutting of a succulent. And then this guy. And I was going to have to go ahead and, well, we don't really want to tell him now, do we? Because he wasn't going to make it. because he wasn't doing anything, and then he just started to grow. So he can't stay here. He's gonna have to go over with the big boys. So we're gonna do a little bit of moving around, and I'm actually wanting to get rid of these lights as soon as I can find something less pink, but that has the same amount of lights. I noticed that my son, they do have a quality to them, but I really have a hard time dealing with living with pink all the time. And if you look at my house from the outside, well, I don't know how many of you remember what the red light district means, but it just doesn't look right. I'll be back when I'm done cleaning up. Okay. Now, before you think, oh, we forgot about little Herbert over here. We can't forget about little Herbert over here. This plant makes me laugh. He really makes me laugh. Do you see that leeway he's got there? Do you know why? Because he leans towards the light. And I know I should put him in the middle, but it's funny because he grows in that area really fast. And then I come in here and I turn him around like this, so when the light comes back on, he'll lean back over and he'll grow some more. I mean, he's put on so much growth just since Mother's Day. Anyway, let's go to the tomato. Now, it had a lot of dead weight. Things that were not going to reproduce, and I decided to take the entire limb that had those tomatoes on it because it really had seen its day. This one may have as well. I'm just going to go ahead and see what it thinks it can do. Now, I'm still using the mayonnaise jars, and it did get its Miracle-Gro. Now, according to my father, you know, we've done the roots and shoots, and it's blooming time, and I'm hoping that I got my baking soda in there in time. I'm going to let these continue to try to ripen. I cut off all those other ones that were here, and I covered the mylar with something a little more seasonal for now. But I did trim it up quite a bit. And one thing on all the videos I watched is they said, especially down here at the bottom, you know, if they're not producing or if they're just like this here, you know, I really did clean this up quite a bit. There was a little bit of new growth. I let it go. I noticed that it was weak. A lot of this is weak, and it is all, if you can see my little ties, held up because my fan was up higher. So now I have to have my fan here, which is fine because my air conditioning, I don't have any circulation in my house, so that'll be fine. It'll come on when the light comes on, and that will strengthen the limbs of the stalk of the tomato plant. I think that's why it became weak, plus it was stretching to get up to the light, which you can see is not too far away now. And I am, where did my little blossoms go? Well, they're here, right there. I still have my blossoms, and we'll see how it does, but I think it's going to be a lot happier, and it doesn't have all that other stuff holding it back and holding it down. And I've always been a person to come pick off, you know, dead leaves and stuff. And we put the fire stick down there because I think he'll be happier with the canna. I know it's hard to see, but it's harder for me to see when that pink light is on. And of course, you know, the habanero is the same. And I think that everything should do well. Now I'm going to have to repot him. It's time. And I'm going to have to expand a little bit. So there's going to be more plants in here. And there'll be peppers because they don't require as much sunlight as the tomatoes do. So they'll do just fine down there. But he got moved over. The one that almost, well, we don't want to tell him what almost happened to him. But that's my jalapeno that decided to grow after a year. So we moved him over here at the big boys, and we'll see what he gets done. And it does look like I have, if you look here very closely. Do you know what that is? Oh, that's the start of a new leaf. So in fact, the sago palm did make it after all. If you don't recall the story, I decided to cook something in my crock pot a little too close to my sago palm. And I have to wait for all of this to turn brown, so all the energy goes back down into the bulb to create more of these ones. So we have lots of new beginnings here. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and close out the video because I didn't really touch a whole lot of other stuff. I'm going to look into what's up with the aloe vera because it shouldn't be a problem. I think this stuff like grows like weeds. And I'm going to expand it a little bit. It'll be, a couple of weeks. That's right, we got to cut open the tomato. Anyway, I can't show you it with the fan running because the timer's it's not on yet. But that should be fine, and we'll see how they do. So let's go cut that tomato. This is not traditional for me. This isn't even my kitchen right now. But these are the ones I picked, and these ones I do not feel were ready. But I'm going to go ahead and put them in the window. But being that these are so soft, I'm going to go ahead and go with this one. And we're going to cut it. I know this isn't the right knife for it, but it cut easily. Let's look at that. Let's look at that. Well, it has texture and some seed. I'm not going to let you watch me taste this because I'm not dressed right, but I'll tell you the truth. Oh, much better. Much better. The baking soda did work. It definitely did work. I'm going to eat these. I didn't eat those other ones. Okay, so the baking soda is a trick. Now, the trick to the baking soda is, I'll list it in the details below too. I believe it's 2 weeks after the first time you see the fruit, you start putting the baking soda in. And then as they start to get bigger, I think it's 5 weeks later. But I'll make sure that I include all of that. That was yummy. So we did it. We did it and we made it. We'll see if these ones will ripen in the window. But we'll just see how much my garden grows. And I guess I'll do an update in another couple of weeks. Hopefully I'll have some jalapeno. You guys all have a wonderful Memorial weekend and whatever holidays are coming. Oh, Father's Day. And be kind to one another. Bye.